Now in this session, I will show you the some configuration of the EPG. So if you configure or if you create a new EPG, then you need to do some more configuration like adding the domain, static binding, adding the contract to the EPG. So I'll show you how to do this configuration. So firstly, we'll check how to configure the static ports and the EPG. In our case, we configured three EPGs in this application profile. So these are three EPGs. Now I'll open demo EPG. In this EPG, there is no static ports are configured. So firstly, I'll show you how to add this static port in this EPG. So I'll go to registry.terraform.io, and here I will get the script to add the static path. So this is the resource name ACI EPG to static path. So I'll use this script, I'll add it to the main file, and this is the example name is given to this resource. This is the relation, and this is the path. You need to provide which interface of which leaf node on which port is going to map to this EPG. So here I'll use the path is like this topology pod 1, it will be same. I'll use path instead of 129, I'll use 101. This is my leaf node, and I'll configure the interface. So in our case, we configured interface 35. So I'll use the same interface for static binding. I'll use 1/35, and I'll map, and I'll use encap VLAN is 1000, mode is regular, and primary encap is 500. This is my configuration, so I'll save this and will run this file. But before running, I'll verify applying Terraform plan to see the configuration. So it is checking for the configuration. So far, there is no issue with our script. Now you can see we are adding this resource and we correctly map the settings. So here you can see now the path it is showing tenant ABC, application profile test, EPG, all those things are correct. So I'll apply the command to push the configuration. So here now it will firstly check for the existing resource and refresh it, and it will ask to approve this change. So I'll approve this once again, and now it will start pushing the configuration. So here you can see we see that this resource got added. Now I'll verify an apic GUI. Here you can see we are in this demo underscore EPG, and here you can see 1/35 on this leaf node got mapped, and here we use this VLANs. So this are 1000 VLAN for micro segmentation we used, and 500 we used as a primary VLAN. So here it is showing, and deployment immediacy is on demand, and the mode of this interface is trunk. So this got successfully configured. Now I'll show you, let's say if you have a multiple interfaces that you want to add in this EPG. So we'll check for the script. So here in this resources, you will get this option ACI bulk EPG to static path. So if I click here, I'll get the script to add a multiple interfaces. So I'll copy this script and I'll add it to in our main file. So here you can see resources ACI bulk EPG to static path. So we cannot change this name, only we can put this name. So we used example for all the resources, so we will use the same name here. And this is application EPG relation, so we will keep this as it is for now, and we'll map the interfaces. So we'll need to, before mapping, we'll need to put the interfaces you want to configure in this EPG. So here you need to edit the leaf node ID. So it should be 101 or 102. So I'll use 101 and I'll want to bind 1/5 for this 102. I'll use 1/5. Also, I'll try to use 101 and interface it will be 1/6. And now I want to configure the same thing for 102. I will take the same port 1/6 and I'll keep all these things as it is. So I'll save this and we'll try to run. So I'll directly apply the command to push the configuration. So here I'm getting some error. So it is showing that the provider Cisco DevNet ACI does not support resource type. So this is not going to support. So I don't think we can use this resource. So need to do some investigation why it is not accepting. So for now, we have only resource available to configure the single interface. But if we want to configure multiple interfaces, then we can use the same resource. So I'll show you. Let's say we configured 1/35. We already configured. Now let's say if I want to configure 1/36, here I just need to change the name of the resource. So I'll type example 2 and the rest of the things it will be same. So I'll save this. We'll try to push the configuration. It got added. So we'll verify the configuration. So here you can see 1/36 on this leaf node got added successfully. So in this way we can do the static binding. Now I'll show you how to configure the domain and how to apply the contract on these EPGs. So now I will show you how to add the domain in this EPG. So if I click here, there is no domain association to this EPG. So we'll check for the resources. So here you can see ACI EPG to domain. So this is the resource available. So we'll copy all these lines and we'll use in our main file. Now here you need to provide some relation. So this is the first relation. It is for the first EPG. So example name is given to our first EPG. So we'll verify this in the EPG. So for the first EPG, we used example, sorry, this is the example. For second EPG, we used example 2. For third EPG, we used example 3. So in this way, you'll need to map correctly relation. We are going to create the domain and in the EPG1. So we do not need to change this relation. For this one, now here we are mapping the domain to the EPG. So that relation we mentioned, we'll need to associate the domain in this statement. So here ACIFC domain, we'll need to use the existing domain. So in our last configuration, we configured the domain. So here you can see we configured VLAN pool. This is we configured ACI ranges, and this is the domain ACI physical domain. So this is the name of the existing resource. So we'll use this name and this will be example. And now here we are giving encap VLAN 5 and the rest of the things. We'll keep this as it is. So we'll see if it will accept or not. So now I will run and will apply the configuration. So this is the output. We are getting some error. So here it is giving error for VMM domain. So we are not adding a VMM domain. So we can remove this part from this script. So I'll try to remove this configuration. We'll see if it will accept. So I'll save this. We'll try once again. Now here you can see it got accepted and our resource got added. So if I'll refresh this, here you can see we created this domain and we have mapped this physical domain to EPG. Now we'll try to map the contract. So here in this EPG there is no contract applied. So we'll check for the resources. So EPG to contract resources there. So I'll copy this one and will paste here. Application EPG relation. So ACI application EPG dot demo dot id. So demo should be replaced with this example because we use this name, and contract DN ACI contract demo. So we'll need to check for our contract and then we can modify this statement. So ACI contract name is this ACI contract subject ACI contract. Okay, so AC underscore contract is the name of our resource. So I'll need to AC underscore contract. This I'll remove and type example, and contract type is provider. And now I'll save this and we'll try to run. Before running, I'll check for the plan. We'll verify it. So there is no issue with our script. So now I'll apply it. Okay, so this resource got added. So we'll verify the configuration. So here you can see demo underscore contract from this tenant, ABC tenant. This got added and this is a provided contract. Now we'll do one thing. We'll also try to configure the same contract. Now we'll do the same thing and we'll use the consume contract and we'll check if it will accept here. So I'm using the same resource, use example 2. Now this is the relation for EPG and this is the contract we are going to apply. Now I'll type consumer here and rest of the things I'll keep as it is. I'll save this file and will directly apply. Now this got added. So we'll verify. So here you can see consume contract got added to this EPG. So in this way you can create a multiple contract and you can associate in the EPG as a provided or the consumed contract. I hope you got how to configure the contract, how to apply this contract in the EPGs.